Today, we're talking the top buys and sells for fantasy football ahead of week 6. And when you're making your deals this week, be sure to use our trade calculator at yardsperfantasy.com. It's fully customizable, it's free to use, and you'll never lose a trade again. Find it now at yardsperfantasy.com/trade-calculator. Let's kick things off with the top trade targets for week 6, beginning with Patriots rookie running back TreVeyon Henderson. It's been a slow start for TreVeyon Henderson. He's been stuck in a 3-back committee through the first 5 weeks, and the explosiveness that we love about him just hasn't shown up yet. However, he played a season-high 50% of the snaps in week 5. Now, when I talked about him as a trade target earlier in the season, I pointed to a 50% snap share being the mark that we were waiting for him to get to. And well, we're here. He got there. We made it. And that role should be sustainable now with Antonio Gibson out for the season. That's going to turn this 3-headed backfield into a 2-man committee. Now, I will say Ramondre Stevenson kind of stole the show a little bit in week 5, given his 2 touchdowns, but TreVeyon Henderson was far more efficient. He ran for 24 yards on 6 carries. Ramondre Stevenson had 7 carries, but he only gained 14 yards. Now, this Patriots offense seems to be getting better and better every week, which will only help open up things for TreVeyon Henderson. And once he gets going, I'm telling you, once he gets going, you're going to wish you had him on your roster. His managers are frustrated right now. You can buy low. Now, a pair of wide receivers you can also buy low right now, for a different reason, of course. I'm looking at Jauan, Jennings and Pearsall. Now, I need to preface with this. Both of these guys are working their way back from injury. Their week 6 status is up in the air at the time of this recording. This is more of a long-term move for teams that are already in good shape. But with that out of the way, this 49ers offense just keeps on rolling. I don't know how they do it. No matter who is out there, they just keep on going, man. And maybe it's just me, but I can't stop imagining what this thing would look like if everyone's at full strength. Maybe we're just destined to not get that this year. I don't know. But I love both of these wide receivers coming into the season, and both have shown us exactly why I love them, at least when they've been healthy. I mean, if Kendrick Bourne is out there putting up 10 for 142 with Mac Jones at quarterback, I just can't help but wonder what Jauan, Jennings, or Pearsall could do. Like I said, both of these guys have already flashed this year a little bit. Jauan Jennings in week 2, he had 5 catches on 10 targets, 89 yards, a touchdown. He was the wide receiver 11 on the week. And Pearsall did it twice. In week 1, 4 catches, 7 targets, 108 yards, wide receiver 20 performance. And again in week 3, 8 receptions, 11 targets, 117 yards. He was the wide receiver 11 on the week. And I don't really think it matters who's at quarterback out there. Jauan Jennings had his big game with Mac Jones, and the offense has been good with both of these guys. Purdy's a little cleaner, but both get the job done. So if you're in good shape, you're 5-0, you're 4-1, maybe even for some 3-2 teams, and you're looking to strengthen your roster at a discount, go trade for one of these guys. They get the Titans, Colts, and Bears in the fantasy playoffs. Another wide receiver I would like to buy low on this week is Brian Thomas Jr. It continues to be a weird season for Brian Thomas Jr., but the arrow is pointing up, even if it's only slightly pointing up. He had a big clutch catch late in the Jaguars win on Monday night against the Chiefs. He had a season-high 5 receptions in that game. The target shares, they've remained healthy pretty much every single week. They're just not connecting on the targets. But with Brenton Strange now on IR, the Jaguars are going to have no choice but to get Brian Thomas going. Strange came into week 5 leading the team in receptions and receiving yards. Maybe that says a little bit more about Brian Thomas than it does Brenton Strange, but I'm optimistic this is going to be the start of a turnaround for a guy who looked like an absolute stud by the end of his rookie season. I don't know if he'll reach the level that we were projecting coming into the season and led to his 2nd-round ADP, but the cost has gotten cheap enough that I'm willing to take my shot. Moving on to the sells, my first sell for week 6 is going to be Cam Skattebo. Cam Skattebo, he's a fan favorite. I know it. He's fun to watch. He's tough. He's physical. He's a bruising runner, and he's good in the passing game. And he's been productive. He scored 13.9, 24.1, 13.0, and 14.4 fantasy points over the last 4 weeks. However, his efficiency metrics are pretty brutal. And now he's going to be getting Tyrone Tracy back to that offense. And he's entering a brutal stretch of matchups. It's the Eagles in week 6, Broncos in week 7, Eagles again in week 8. So his production is going to go down. His usage is going to take a hit. He's already in a bad offense with poor efficiency metrics. This is a great time to get out, take the profit on Cam Skattebo. Another running back I'm looking to sell ahead of week 6, Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard worked as the Titans' bell cow over the first 5 weeks, but his snap share took a noticeable hit as soon as Tyjae Spears returned in week 5. Pollard still played on 73% of the snaps, which is a really strong number. But Tyjae Spears immediately slotted in for 25% in his first game back. His role is only going to grow from here, which means Pollard's is going to decline. And Pollard was already having a hard enough time being productive in such a poor offensive environment. And now we're going to take away 30, 40, 50% of his work. Now he scored the touchdown and 14.8 fantasy points in week 5. So he's got some value left in a trade for a team that's looking for some running back help. I'm not saying you're going to get a haul back for Tony Pollard, but if you can sell him for a wide receiver 2 type, I'd do it for sure. I'm also looking to sell a pair of Texans. The first is CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud has taken advantage of 2 bad defenses over the last 2 weeks for 18.4 and 28.8 fantasy point performances against the Titans and the Ravens. Good for him. That's what he's supposed to do. But before that, against the Rams, Bucks, and Jaguars, who, let's admit, hardly the 85 Bears out there, he couldn't top 15 fantasy points, and he finished as the QB 26, the QB 23, and the QB 25. Now, he's still a pocket passer with a terrible offensive line. The schedule gets tougher moving forward. They get the Seahawks coming out of the week 6 bye. So I'll sell to anyone who wants to buy CJ Stroud right now. The other is Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb scored the long touchdown in week 5, but again, that came against a horrible, injury-plagued Ravens defense. And he was still outsnapped by rookie Woody Marks. Just not going to get enough work to overcome his own inefficiency, plus the poor offensive line play. This could be your last chance to sell at a decent price. So that's it. Those are the top buys and sells for week 6. Drop your trade questions in the comments. I'll be happy to share my thoughts. And be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'll be putting out content like this all season long. And if you want more from me, you can find my rankings, articles, resources, and tools at yardsperfantasy.com. Be sure to check back here on Saturday for the best and the worst plays of the week.